I don't have my truck right now because my truck's in the shop, but that's why I'm driving that Taco. But Dad always talks about how organized his stuff is and how clean his back of his truck is. And so I just want to show you guys kind of a overview of the back of his truck. It ain't too bad right now, but this is the back of his truck. Okay, there is all kinds. You could grow a garden in here. You know what? As a matter of fact, look, we got some rye growing back there. If you're ever curious what the backseat of a farmer's truck looks like, it's gonna look like this. So there's one thing that Dad's always got in his truck, and you can guarantee that, is gum. It's always got gum. Ain't got nothing else in here usually to eat, but, huh?
Sometimes it's Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, he's gonna have some kind of candy if he ain't got no gum in here. He don't have to keep that kind of stuff in here because it don't last very long. That's a 12-row vacuum planter there, hooked to a 7830 with duals on it. We're moving, like I said, from the Hill House to the Roberts. And like I said in that earlier video, this used to be owned by people they called the Hills, and there's a house back in those woods in that power line, so they call it the Hill House Farm. And the other place we're going, which is not far at all from here, we call Roberts because the guy that used to own it, his first name was Robert and his last name was Cobra, but we call him Roberts. So. Let's do what's going on here. I know you're planting corn, but tell me like the variety you're planting, population count, chemicals.
Well, Pioneer 2042.
And what's up with that particular variety?
It's a full season variety, and it was one of the better ones in the test trial last year. Conducted to it.
Is there anything yield-wise important there? I mean, not yield-wise, I mean like resistance it's got besides Roundup? And then what's your population per?
A little over 30,000 plants per acre. Running. 10 gallons of 32 and 10 gallons of 1034 out in the back. And we're using a vellum as a nematicide at 3.3 ounces to the acre.
And that's the only pesticides you're running in this field?
Yes.
So this is the GPS here, and it's keeping up with how many acres he's planting. That's his coverage there. This is your population counter, making sure that you're within a certain range. When it starts beeping like that, it's letting them know that either it's high or low warning, and they're going to do that sometimes just on their own. And what's that?
Dust.
Dust. Sometimes these sand will mess the sensors up and make it seem like it might not quite be right. But another important thing with the GPS is you have to make sure, see, we're planting on beds, so you have to sometimes adjust the GPS a few or an inch or so one way or an inch the other way to make sure that you're staying on top of the bed. So when we run the bed over, there's a subsoil shank that's running really deep into the ground, and that's softening up that dirt so that the corn roots, as they grow, can can easily pass down there. Now the fertilizer, the nitrogen you're putting out, that's going on those Y tips, right?
No, it's not I mean, we put it.
Well, it's kind. I mean,
We
it's
made
shooting.
it a Y, yeah.
But what's the point of doing it beside there? It's because of the early growth for the roots, right?
Yeah, when the soil's cold, you want more phosphorus down there, so the plant will take off a little quicker as the soil warms up. Our soils are high in phosphorus, so as the soils warm up, it'll naturally release the phosphorus. But when it's cold, it needs phosphorus to make the plant jump out the ground.
Got all the fertilizer in here, which is a lot of nitrogen. In these two tanks, which come up to about 480 gallons, and then the front one there is what, 180, 200 gallons, and that is your pesticides, and this is your fertilizer. And that'll change when it comes to when we start planting peanuts and different things, and beans too, I guess. But this planter is a vacuum planter, so it has a gauge that you can't read right there that's telling him how much just how much vacuum pressure there is.
Yeah.
And then the rest of those little hoses and sight glasses that are really dusty right now, they have little balls in them that are sitting up in the liquid spinning, which are basically telling you, hey, this particular nozzle is still working correctly, so it's allowing fluid through. If that thing were to drop or go way high, that would mean something's wrong with that particular spray nozzle. It's not putting out correctly. The deal with corn is that it's what, 80,000 seed per bag, and it's exact normally. I'm sure it's off a little bit. Whereas peanuts is not exact. You're going off of poundage versus corn, you're going off of actual count of seed.